You're listening to Gameday Tarps podcast, coast to coast, with your hosts, Riley, Dakota, Dallas, Dayton, and Wilbs.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Gameday Tarps podcast. My name's Dayton Camo. That's Riley. That's Dak. That's Dally. And for those of you who are new, give us a like, subscribe to the channel at Gameday Tarps on every social media. TikTok, go hit us up. We're really starting to grow on there. And for this one, episode 33. It's going to be a short one, but we've really got some information to pack in. We're going to be talking about the Four Nations Cup that just got officially announced, and some new colors in the NHL, some black, some light blue, and some white over in the state of Utah. And we've got some finals statistics to talk about in the 2024 Stanley Cup Finals with Florida and Edmonton. And then finally, our weekly segment, Gameday Tarps, Battle of the Tarps, where we take two jerseys and face them off against each other and see which one we like better. So let's get right into it. Without further ado, Riley's going to take it away.
Oh, boys, that was beautiful. How we doing,
That's
everyone?
awesome.
Doing good, boss.
Enjoying the Friday night, man. Let's get into this.
Okay.
I'm pumped.
All right, Four Nations face-off. Like Dayton said, let's get into it. We have Canada, Sweden, USA, and Finland. It has been announced for 2025. It will be hosted between TD Garden in Boston and Bell Center in Montreal. You know what? Let's just do a little fun. I'm throwing this in last second. Who do we think is kind of going to be, barring injuries, of course, like who do we think is kind of going to be headlining this tournament for Canada, for US, for Sweden? Who do you think? Let's just talk about like the main three guys for each team. Who's your three for Canada? Who's your three for the US? Who's your three for Sweden? And who's your three for Finland that are really going to, be the leaders of their team?
Well, Canada will probably be like McDavid, Crosby.
Makar for sure on the back end
McKinnon.
because he's going to be available.
Do you think it'll be crazy if Sidney Crosby is the fourth line center? Because
There's
Canada's
no way.
that deep.
I don't think he should be the fourth
Out of
line.
respect.
If they break up the
not-
Nova Scotia line, Marchand on the left, Crosby in the middle, and Mac on the right, like I don't know.
They could do it. If McKinnon doesn't play center, I could see that. But if they play McDavid line 1, McKinnon line 2, I don't know. It'd probably be Crosby line 3. But could you imagine if they sending out Crosby with two line mates on the fourth line to just go dominate some other team's fourth line?
Yeah.
The Nova Scotia line, they're going to be line number 2. Okay, you just can't split those guys up, and they're still talented as hell. McKinnon's fast.
They train together every summer, every day.
Summer, yeah, and they do their hockey school for kids and everything. So
if you put McKinnon in the center line or in the center position and put Crosby on the wing and move Marchand onto the other wing, so Crosby was playing left, I think that would still work. But even if they had him down low in the bottom 6, that would work too.
True.
Like McDavid, you're going to have him centering the first line. There's no question. Bedard will probably realistically be the third line center if you think of it. It'll be his first actual international,
Because you saw how much he got
so
benched at, not benched, but his ice time got really limited at the World Championship.
Oh, that won't even matter now. They just announced John Cooper is going to be the coach for this and the coach for the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
So Cooper's just. I'm pumped about it because that means Stamkos and Point are both going to be on the team.
Yeah.
So.
100%.
I want to go on a limb here, boys, and agree or disagree. But boys, I'm not a fan of this Four Nations face-off because think of how many nations with great hockey talent that you're just blatantly just snubbing right now, right? You got
the Czechs
Switzerland,
could easily win.
Czechia, yep.
Literally
all these
two
guys
teams that were in the finals of the World Championships
will not be participating. Just say it. Just bring back the World Cup of hockey again, okay? These are a lot of guys that you're just blatantly snubbing to not participate for their country on a huge stage in Montreal and Boston. Like, what a joke. I am not a fan of it at all.
I think that they
Just
did
bring
screw.
back the World Cup of hockey.
I think you're right, Dallas, because you could do a Team North America. That Team North America would be headlined by Bedard and Cutter Gauthier, Will Smith, like putting America and
Brock Faber.
Canada together.
Yeah.
Yeah, the under-23 team, that team would be insane. They wouldn't be as good as the McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon situation that we had. Or was
in
McKinnon
2016.
Canada?
No,
Yeah,
that
he
was
was North America.
that was North America. That was unreal.
But they would still compete at an extremely high level. The goaltending might be a bit of an issue. I don't know who's a good under-23 North American goaltender that's in the NHL currently.
Devin Levi, maybe. He's a top goalie prospect.
Spencer
in the
Knight.
Dustin Wolf.
Dustin Wolf. Yeah.
The USA, right? Oh, well, yeah, North America, yeah.
It would be their weakest position, would be goaltending, but it probably was then too. But then again, Team Europe, you would have Anze Kopitar, right? Like those guys would have a team to go to that aren't from big nations. So I'm with you, Dally. I think that they should have done that.
Yeah. It's all about participation, right? Like you're trying to be, inclusive, fan friendly, but then, you're going to get all these, fans even from overseas. You're like, okay, these guys aren't going to be participating, seeing my heroes, my idols playing hockey. Like you said, Anze Kopitar, David Pastrnak, like these guys.
Yep.
Where are they?
Sure
yeah. They weren't told to show up because we're not being inclusive.
Shade. When they just won that gold medal, he just said, he made a total comment right at the NHL. He said, and somehow we're not playing in an NHL tournament.
They strive for hockey is for everyone, but yet they're just going to disinclude, so many nations that are well deserving to be there. Bring back the World Cup of hockey. End of rant.
I think it's to me because they rushed it. Like
they had almost 10 years.
Yeah, but like
almost 10 years
after COVID, not going to the Olympics, fans wanted international hockey. So this is like them just slapping together international hockey and saying, "Here you go."
Yeah, but why would that be rushed though? I mean, like it'd be no different than any other international competition with the IIHF that they do every year, right? With all these nations.
But
how is this any different?
Well, so part of why this is only 4 teams is because it's only NHL players that are allowed. Like it's an NHL event with NHL only players under NHL contracts, which is why they haven't been able to go to the Olympics, is because the IIHF and the NHL can't come to an agreement. They have now, but they couldn't come to an agreement on insurance for injuries and travel and all that, like who was paying an equal amount, because the NHL says, we're giving you the best players in the world, and the Olympics says, we don't care. So that's where they've been. Yeah, that's where they've been battling.
I like what Dayton said then. Czechia should be there then, because they literally just won at the IIHF Worlds, and they had a killer roster. So
yeah, but their goalie never played. Oh no, it was Dostal, wasn't it?
Yeah,
sorry, Switzerland's goalie had never played a game in the NHL. So Swiss, if you think about it, the Swiss had like 4 NHL players: Fiala, Yossi, Niederreiter. I don't even know if I can name a 4th now.
Yeah, but can you agree that the Czechia are some of the top hockey nations in the world? Yeah, but so
how many?
If you're going to compare Switzerland and Czechia, they have a handful. I'm not going to say they're like a Team Canada or Team USA, but they're up there.
Exactly. So, but it's just about like, could they field a team of NHL contract players from Czechia? And the answer was no. Could they field a team of German players? No. Could they field a Swiss team? No. So the 4 teams. Well, yeah, they could have done a 15.
If we bring back the World Cup of hockey.
Yeah, and that's where they were like, okay, if we do a Team Europe, then do we have to do a Team North America again? So I think that's why they just cut it to 4, because you can guarantee you will get a Team Sweden, you will get a Team Finland, a Team Canada, and a Team USA out of this tournament. Why don't we talk about USA? Who do you guys think? Obviously, Austin Matthews, he's going to be there. Who else do you think is on Team USA?
100%.
Both Kachucks? I think the both Kachucks then, right?
Yeah.
That's their first line.
No, that's their... I would put them on the 4th or 3rd or 4th line for a grinder line. Both of them.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't think.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think Matthew would strictly go grinder for
Yeah, no, I
that
don't
kind
think
of a
so.
scenario. You know, maybe Brady could fill in that role, but I don't know. I think Matthew's got too much skill to just go full grinder.
Yeah, and I don't know. Brady Tkachuk was on line 1 for Team USA just now at the Worlds there, right? So I think he'd be line 1. Him and Matthew with Austin Matthews would be crazy.
That would be nice.
Tkachuk would be open, Matthews would be open all day long because the Tkachuk brothers would just destroy everyone in the corners and behind the net and just pass it to the slot to Matthews because he'd be wide open.
Actually, no, you know who I think would light it up for the States, though, is probably Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah.
See, and I was going to counter that almost. I'm like, maybe a few years ago I would have said, yeah, Johnny Gaudreau, but he's kind of had a bit of a dip with Columbus. But
That's what
that's
happened when you
Columbus,
go to
though.
Columbus.
He just
That's
killed
Columbus.
it again for USA not too long ago, did he not?
Yeah, he just broke the all-time
Yeah, he just broke a
record for
record.
U.S. points at the World Championships. Which is such a hard flex.
Is that really I was just gonna say, is that really a flex though? That just means like you're not in the playoffs that
ever
much, you know?
I played in the playoffs 3 times in my career. What?
You can crush the international stage, but when you're playing at home in Columbus, it's
Well, he also what support did Columbus have? Finally Yarmo's gone. Hopefully they'll get a new coach.
Well, and Laine
this
wants
team's
out
gonna turn
again,
around, which is great. And just come to an agreement to terminate his contract and send him back to Europe. We were talking about this just as a little side tangent. Him and Dubois' career arc is the exact same. Drafted the same year. Both complained.
just one pick apart.
Both complained about the team they were on. They got traded for each other because it was completely equal value. Then got both paid way too much money on their next contract. And then both demanded out of their situation now. Dubois out of Winnipeg to now LA. And just a few months later, here's Patrick Laine demanding out of Columbus for a new situation. And he has a 10-team no-trade clause, but I'm guessing that there are 27 teams in the NHL that do not want Patrick Laine for 2 to 3 more years, whatever it is, at $8.5 million. What does he bring you? He hasn't scored 30 goals since 2017.
and he'll probably get injured first half of the season.
Okay, so tell me this then. If you were Team USA general manager, if it came down to the wire between Johnny Gaudreau and JT Miller, who would you rather have for the States?
Dude, I hate JT Miller, so I'm going Gaudreau.
JT Miller, 100%. Look at the season he just had.
And he's a team player when he knows he can play for his NHL club, right?
But so is Gaudreau, though.
Gaudreau he's the better person. He's the better teammate.
He doesn't throw hissy fits. I'll give him that. That is true. He doesn't start bringing the bench chemistry down when he's yelling at his teammates and throwing shit.
I love JT Miller's compete. I won't argue with that. But it goes too far he's pouting, he's whining, he's yelling at teammates. And then when they needed him most in that game versus Edmonton, Game 7, he was terrible. He had nothing going. He didn't show up. And that's exactly what he was when Tampa traded for him. That's why he only lasted as little as he did, because Tampa had to make roster-cutting moves. And they looked at who was the first guy that had to get cut from the team, from their main core, when they got swept by Columbus. Boom, JT Miller out the door to Vancouver right away.
Okay, so let's come full circle then, boys. So we were talking about goaltending, right? So who would you consider Stuart Skinner to be a top contender to be one of Canada's netminders come Four Nations Faceoff? As we are standing right now of this recording, the Oilers are down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers, and his playoff performance is showing. Would you consider him next year?
Can I say this, I guess, is that I think he's top 3 by default, that Canada has some of the worst goalie depth in the NHL.
I'll say this.
I don't think Skinner would be a starter for Canada.
I'll say you could put anyone in the Canadian crease and they'd be starting potential.
Not Jordan Binnington.
I was going to say, please don't. Please don't.
Him at the World Championships was exactly why. Did you see him in the shootout? His fake poke check that left his 5-hole wide open. He fake poke checked at the bottom of the circles when the other guy was not even at the hash marks yet. And the guy put it 5-hole on him from like 10 feet out because he was being in. That cost them the chance to play in the gold medal game because they lost that shootout. Like, he just does stupid things at stupid times and can't keep his composure. I don't even want him in the top 3. Give me Stuart Skinner. Give me Connor Ingram.
Give me Sam Montembeau.
Sammy Montembeau. I mean, he's making a name for himself after this year.
He is.
But
yep. So was Ingram. Like, I'd consider Montembeau and Ingram for sure. Way over Jordan Binghamton any day of the week.
I would start Connor Ingram. Hands down. That's my Canadian 100%. Starter.
Do you think Fleury has a shot at making a selection camp position at least at his age?
John Cooper is all about respect. And if he's not going to be the starting goalie and he's not going to be the backup goalie, John Cooper would absolutely respect Marc-Andre Fleury and put him as the third goalie on Team Canada and play him against, I don't know, someone.
One last hurrah, yeah. How I'd do it. You know, Marc-Andre Fleury is a veteran. He's one of the most well-respected goalies in the entire National Hockey League, and he's going to go down as a great Hall of Famer. If I was John Cooper personally, I would do it too, just to have him there. Yeah. You know, one last ride.
Don't be surprised that this is Canada's like oldest roster ever because Cooper respects these veteran guys. I'm talking Jamie Benn, Sidney Crosby, Brad Marchand, Steven Stamkos, Drew Doughty on defense. Like, don't be surprised if that's the list of names that we see on this team. Chris Letang, if Letang is still playing. Like, don't be surprised if this is such an old team.
Yeah, on defense, like I'd go with Aaron Ekblad even, Brendan Montour. I'd go with Cale Makar, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot of names, a lot of well-deserving names. It's so hard at this point.
Taze is Canadian, right? So Makar and Taze they're your line number 1 because that's the best chemistry in the NHL.
No, dude, I'll just bring Bowen Byram on.
Maybe if he lights it up for Buffalo, you never know. He could make it. Okay, so who have we said? We've said Austin Matthews, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, goaltender Connor Hellebuyck.
Most likely.
No question. Yeah, it's got to be Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck, Gibson, and who else? I'm missing someone who's a big American goaltender.
Thatcher Demko, buddy.
Thatcher Demko, there we go. Those would be
yes, sir.
Okay, let's jump to Sweden. And Sweden's tough. Well, not really. If you're just talking about 3, I mean, we know Karlsson's going to be captain. You have Victor Hedman, who's going to be there, and William Nylander. Who else do you guys think is there, like, on the forward core that's really, like, an elite?
Philip Forsberg.
Elias Lindholm.
And Pettersson.
Right, Elias Pettersson.
If he's healthy, maybe Gabe Landeskog. That's a maybe.
True.
A hard maybe.
That would be a captain choice then between Karlsson and Landeskog. Yeah. I personally don't like Erik Karlsson as a captain, but he always seems to be the captain of Sweden.
William Nylander even.
Yep. So, I mean, they'll be good. I just don't know how deep they'll be. Like, for Sweden and Finland, once you get past, like, the third line, you're talking about guys that are, like, maybe AHL guys, right?
David Gam.
Like, yeah, like, exactly.
How I'd put it on this roster, too, a guy who passed Henrik Lundqvist in all-time wins by a Swedish goaltender in the NHL this season, I'd put in Jacob Markstrom between the pipes.
I think
he'd be well-deserving.
Well, he's probably, one of the only good Swedish goaltenders in the league right now?
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, what happened to Robin Lehner?
Oh, injury. Concussions.
Right.
Yeah, he's basically done.
Oh, I know he wasn't playing, and I was just like, what happened to that guy? I thought Cole Caulfield sniped too many on him in the in the Eastern or in the finals. Who knows?
In the finals.
Or in the conference finals.
Yeah.
In 2020.
Western Conference champion Montreal.
Ottawa has a Swedish goalie too. The Ottawa Senators.
Nobody wants him.
Mad Sogard, whatever his name is.
I don't think he's Sogard's.
Or no, I don't think he's Swedish.
He's Danish. He's also
What's his name?
6'7". He's huge.
What's his name in
Anton
Minnesota?
Forsberg, that's it. Anton
Oh,
Forsberg.
yeah. Anton Forsberg. Who's the guy? Gustafson. Philip Gustafson, Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's there.
I think that's like almost it.
Yeah. There's only like 5.
Jesper Wallstedt. He's a prospect or someone.
Minnesota, yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, they have a good bunch of names to choose from, too. I mean, it's probably, you know who's going to get this, the top 3. So there's really no debate right there, right?
Yeah. And then Finland. I mean, Mikko Rantanen is their best player in the NHL, that's for sure. You say Saros in net?
Yep, all 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
It would be interesting to say Jussi Saros of the blank team, New Jersey Devils, Ottawa Senators, when this rolls around, right? Rather than because he won't be on Nashville come that time. Who else? Who else is a Finnish player? Jesse Puljujärvi.
Linus Ullmark?
Yeah, I was just going to say, where's Ullmark from?
No.
He's Swedish.
He's Swedish, yeah. So he could be the Swedish goaltender, too.
Him and Markstrom.
Like Swayman for the U.S. Forgot about that.
Boys, we forgot about Jeremy Swayman, too.
Yeah.
For overseas back in North America. I totally forgot about that. That would have been another good choice.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Teravainen, Aho.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Kotkaniemi, Barkov.
Barkov, yeah, jeez. Barkov is the most confusing one. The most Russian name from Finland.
Yeah.
And he's Finnish. Yeah. He should get captain, I think. Barkov, and then give the A's to Aho and Rantanen.
Yeah. I don't know about Aho.
They're going to be so thin on defense, though.
On the back end. Yeah, they really...
Yeah. Outside of Heiskanen, name a Finnish defender in the NHL. Joni Hakanpää. Like, I don't know.
Of Dallas, too, yeah.
Yeah.
He was on my roster that I made way back. I had Joni Hakanpää.
I'm pretty sure, honestly, Dallas has like 3 Finnish defensemen.
Finnish roster? I had Heiskanen, Lindell, Jokiharju, Mikkola, Aristolainen, Välimäki.
Yeah, so that just sounds like Dallas, really.
Right, yeah, I forgot. I forgot Välimäki's a Finnish player.
And Rupe Hintz.
Yeah, that's a good addition.
Big star for Dallas, too.
Yeah.
Eric Haula.
Oh, yeah, Haula. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting tournament. I mean, at least it's going to be a little bit of a, drug addict type of remedy for everyone that's been desperate to see Connor McDavid play for Canada and Austin Matthews play for America. Because really, when you think about it, we do have to remember that they played for Team North America and they have not played for Team Canada as NHL players yet. Or Team USA as well for Matthews. Like, I think Matthews has at the World Championships, but I don't think McDavid's gone over there to play.
Even a superstar caliber player in Sidney Crosby. I mean, he hasn't even played in the IIHF Worlds in June since 2015, when him and McKinnon and Brad Marchand were doing that Nova Scotian line again in 2015. So, like, a lot of these guys are going to have another taste for international hockey soon. So, I personally say it's going to be anyone's game. A lot of deep rostered teams. So,
true.
It's hard to say. I'm not even going to put in an early prediction. I'm not even going to go there. It's anyone's game.
Right.
We also forgot to say Patrick Laine for Finland too, didn't we?
True.
We totally forgot. I think he's questionable though, with the whole thing going on right now. I'd say it's questionable. Another maybe.
I think he makes it just because they don't have depth.
I was just gonna say, I think he for sure makes Finland.
Yeah. Like, there's no way he's not in their top 15 forwards in the NHL from Finland. He's in the top 10, so he'll be like first 3 lines. Probably
if he gets his fresh start out of Columbus, then hell yeah, he'll be ready to go for the season.
They'd probably bring him and Puljujärvi in, guaranteed.
Yeah, Puju. Oh man, 2016. Weren't they the first 2 taken after Austin Matthews?
No. Well,
yeah,
yes.
Laine was 2 and Puyi was 3, wasn't he? And then Dubois was 4.
No,
No, Dubois was
Or Dubois was
3,
3,
and then
Puyi was 4.
Puyi was 4, yeah.
Yeah, jeez. That literally, it paid for the Maple Leafs to win that lottery because the rest of those top 4, absolute trash. It's like Calgary when they draft in the top 4. They have to go somewhere else to be good.
Well, even that was
top 10.
2016, right?
That was Kachuk,
Yeah. Well,
6th.
there's Yo Levy, bust.
Yeah, 5th. Yeah. So really, it's just Matthews and then Kachuk.
Which honestly could have been
10.
1 and 2, or should have been 1 and 2.
Marner was top 10 too, wasn't he? Or no, he was 2015. Sorry, he was 2015.
That's another thing I like doing, boys, is redrafts of all the past decade, because how many guys would just move up the rankings so fast if we were to all just sit there and just do a redraft of 2014, 15, 16, et cetera, like,
Yep.
Wow.
Who remembers
Every
The whole
Tampa
board will
Bruins-
just shift.
Do you guys remember when the Boston Bruins absolutely fucked up those like 3 picks right in a row?
2013. I remember that. They had
DeBrusk, Zachary
13, 14,
Senshin.
15,
That
and
was
And
20
Zboril.
That
Yeah.
was 2015, Dallas.
2015?
No, I
Yeah.
think it was 2014. DeBrusk is our age.
Yeah. And the guys after him were like Kyle
It was
Connor and,
Barzell's
like,
draft year, dude.
yeah, it was.
That's
Was it?
2015. That was McDavid's.
Oh yeah, because you guys thought that, or we were like, oh, Boston's definitely getting Barzell because they have like 3 picks right around him.
Yeah, and I thought
they never took him.
I thought Calgary was gonna get Barzell, and then they're like, no, we're gonna trade it to Boston.
Who did you guys even get again?
Dougie Hamilton.
Right. How'd that work out? Both the guys you got
Ends
in
up
that
in
trade are gone.
Carolina.
Everyone you got in that trade is gone. Fox, Lindholm, and Hannafin. All of them gone.
Yeah.
Sad days.
That is tough.
Biggest one out of there. Well, Adam Fox, man. If only he
Yeah.
wanted to play in Canada.
Nope. All right, let's jump ahead here. The NHL salary cap ceiling has been set to $88 million. It's the first time it's jumped up since before COVID. So that's good to see, at least more money to be made. Oh, man, I saw a thing the other day that, like, when you see the NBA now and their absolutely inflated salary cap, you cannot even think back. Like, I didn't even know this. 2012, 2013, the NHL had a higher salary cap than the NBA. 2014, they were even. And then since then, the NBA is like $100 million more than the NHL now on their salary cap. Like, how people, I started questioning, like, how has the NHL not progressed to keep up with that? Like, they got literally just left behind.
See, and it's so funny because, like, these NBA players get paid a whole lot more, and yet they get treated with load management, right?
Yep.
And then the NHL, they play all 82 if they're healthy. You know, if you're a superstar, but like a superstar in the NBA, like LeBron or Giannis or Steph Curry, like, no, you ain't going to this city. You know, just take a night off. You guys deserve it. You know, or take a second night off. Like, you know,
I'm taking the shade
I
off
hate
Steph
load
Curry. Steph Curry doesn't do load management, not like LeBron and Giannis.
no. I'm just superstars,
I'm
like
just
just examples.
Yeah. No, they
Steph-
play. They definitely don't play at least one quarter of the year. At least the superstars. You're not wrong about that. And LeBron is like half. Some of them, like Anthony Davis, is like a quarter of the year just to like get a couple games in before playoffs. Like, it's crazy. I love that the NBA legends all call these guys out and say it's like garbage and it's the softest basketball player in history and like.
Yeah, and they got paid a whole lot less back in the day, and they played a lot harder than what they're used to today. So,
Yep.
I'm not all for that load management. And yet, like MLB, even $250 million contracts to just sit out there and catch a fly ball. Oh, pop fly to center. All right, I don't care. I'll just be out here, 9 innings out of the night, just catch a ball.
Yeah, but
Just
you know
stand
what?
there, pick dandelions out in center field, like.
That goes for like even Lionel Messi. Like, how many people where we're from, BC, bought tickets to the Vancouver Whitecaps versus Miami game about a month ago to find out the day before Messi wasn't going to get on the plane and come up.
Yeah, and they're trying to blame MLS for that. Like, you guys need to, to announce longer in advance of load management, right? And I guess he
Yeah.
was spotted with, at a soccer tournament in Miami, but he didn't go with the team to Vancouver to play the Whitecaps. Like, and Riley,
Yeah.
I want you to post in this video. There are photos surfacing online on Instagram with a food voucher that BC Place was handing out because of this whole, fiasco. They got like maybe a small fry and like 2 to 3 chicken strips. It's like,
Yeah,
here,
because
sorry,
sorry.
yeah, sorry, Lionel Messi, the biggest superstar in the world in soccer, didn't show up to Vancouver. You paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a ticket, but here's a little food voucher for you. Like,
Yeah.
scam, man.
Everyone wanted a refund because they were like, I paid $300 over asking price.
None of their
some
superstars showed up
scouts.
to No,
Yeah,
none of not.
Yeah. The FC Barcelona quadruple, Suarez, Messi, Busquets, and Alba all did not show up. So, like, you literally were paying to watch, like, not even an MLS team, basically, at that point. Like, the rest of their team is trash. So, you were like, yay.
Well, and then there's the whole debate online, like, you should be there to support your own team, like you're not there really to pay to see the other players, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, that why do you think it was a sellout crowd? Everybody is having a once in a lifetime chance to see Lionel Messi play professional soccer in your
Yeah.
hometown. Hell, even people were driving from all over BC, maybe even Canada, the prairie provinces.
It brought people up
Like,
from all of Western US.
Yep.
Like,
And he doesn't show up. But
because
apparently in Chicago, he pulled the same stunt. He was doing load management there when, Miami FC was in Chicago. Like, it's just, wow. I'm sorry for the fans. I almost went, but I didn't pay a ticket because I was like, you never know. He might not show up. And look what happens.
And, like, I don't know. The MLS gave him this major deal where he's getting a part of the brand and all that. To me, they got to tell him, like, your first game take games off at home. Your first game in every city, you got to go to, because he will not be back in Canada, if ever, or in Vancouver. They don't play Vancouver until every 2 years in Vancouver. So next year they'll play Vancouver one time in Miami. Then the year after that, they'll play Vancouver one time in Vancouver. Is Messi even going to be playing then? Like, who knows? So it's just like it was almost like a total slap in the face. Like, he went to Montreal, I think, and Montreal was a great reception and whatever for him, which was fantastic for that side. But Montreal and Toronto are really close together. They have a lot of stars in all sports that are in that hub. Whereas, like, Vancouver is the only team that's had teams in the NBA, and now they have multiple in the NHL out here in the West. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, the Vancouver is like our only hub to reach out on the West and get some kind of a sports team, and he doesn't come, and it's like, that sucks. That sucked to hear, because it was, my dad was even talking about it when he first signed here. It was like, oh, he's not playing here for 2 years, and then he didn't even come, and it's like, dude, you're literally the MLS brand, like, all on your own. You got to start showing up to these things. So, I don't know, little mini rant there, but that's just how I feel about
it's totally understandable.
Management. Let's jump back to it with Utah Hockey Club has released their jerseys and color scheme for the 2024-2025 season. Who wants to break down these jerseys? You can take it away, whoever. Or me.
I was honestly waiting for Dallas to just absolutely shred them apart.
Me too.
Oh, buddy, save the best for last. Go on. Just wait. Just wait.
Okay, so why couldn't the Utah NHL creation team make a jersey and a logo and come up with a name. They've had at least half a year, not half a year, but they've had a decent amount of time. And they just came up with a couple squares, the shape of the state that says Utah Hockey Club.
Yep. I do want to say one thing to slightly back up Utah, just this little bit that they maybe don't deserve. But so they announced that rebrand for Anaheim and LA for next year, right? In that, though, it said that these teams were granted special permission to do that, but Fanatics has requested that no one change their look for 2 years. And then they let Anaheim and LA do it, and now Utah. It's almost like Fanatics is just saying we can't keep up. We're not like.
Yeah, but who's the Ducks owned by though? Disney.
No, no, they're not owned by Disney.
Oh, sorry, the rights to the logo.
Oh, the old logo.
Yeah,
but it
so
won't
they probably
be
had a
that
say in
logo.
it because there's speculation they could be going to a Mighty Ducks style-esque theme. So that's they had a lot of pull with that, and that's probably why they're expediting that.
I think they're getting people too hyped. I think it's going to be something not even close because it says it's a Mighty Ducks inspired, which means that they can't use that logo, but they'll use something or any of the Mighty Ducks logos under the Disney brand, just something similar-ish to it. And I think people are going to be like, "What the heck? This is not the logo I wanted." That's my thought on it, but I'm backing up Utah this much by saying that Fanatics sucks. They're not ready to be a major jersey sponsor. They can't handle the workload of this. This is literally BioSteel, but with their jerseys. Like, all of a sudden, we're going to hear, Fanatics went bankrupt. Like, dude, the amount of wrong jerseys. When did we ever hear of Adidas making wrong jerseys or Reebok making wrong jerseys when they were sent to manufacturers? There are thousands of cases.
Never.
Bad jerseys. There's thousands of cases of Fanatics in 1 year. Wrong spelled names, wrong numbers, backwards
shrunk lettering,
numbers, upside down nameplates. Shrunken lettering. Like, so many problems.
Fanatics is cheap, and they're cheap with their quality, but when you go on their website to go look for a jersey, here's $400.
Yep.
Like, you know what? Like, if I'm gonna spend that kind of money, I want a well-stitched jersey. I don't want some crap that you just whipped up on a hot press and you get all the lettering wrong, right? Or it looks like it shrunk. I don't know if it was on the press or in shipping, whatever. It's like it's not worth $1 of that $400 that I'm spending. Like jerseys, that's another rant I want to get into one day. It's just jerseys are so expensive, and when you spend that top dollar, DHgate,
might as well buy there instead.
$30 US. It'll look exactly the same. I refuse to order from Fanatics ever again. It's just because they claim like, "Ooh, we're a top dog in manufacturing now," and but let's price gouge for a jersey, a sweater, like well, anything on Fanatics now is overpriced, like $100, $120 for shipping for just a simple sweater with a small logo on it. Like whoop-de-doo.
It's also on the NHL though for allowing kind of like a fan-based brand creation company to become a mainline, like major sports brand company. Like it had to be Nike or Adidas or Reebok or one of those, Puma even, like whoever, one of those companies. Obviously they got outbid by Fanatics, but it's like you also have like, don't take necessarily the money, take the quality of the product.
Do what the CHL still does, man. Rock with CCM, baby.
Yep.
Still pumping out fantastic jerseys. CCM. Or remember back in the day, Bauer, right?
Yep.
Like just
there's
Bauer. So many better options than Fanatics. I know they're a whole fan experience, but I see so many people even with MLB jerseys, like they look like ass. And yet Fanatics is not going to do any they're not going to, try to improve their situation. They're just like, just keep pumping them out off the press. Yeah, we don't care. We're making our money. We don't care about the, fan experience. We're here for the fans. No, you're just there for the money, buddy.
I've
Whatever, if
still
those
heard that
stocks start
MLB
growing,
players hate them.
yeah, even the players hate them. Like, if
Yeah.
those guys with that much, voice are expressing their disconcern, like, why aren't you, changing what's broken? Because it is
Yep.
broken. You got to change this bullshit.
Agreed.
You guys are doing jerseys wrong.
I honestly want to see Under Armour make jerseys.
Yeah,
That's just a
that'd be
personal take.
That'd be so cool. They'd be like that stretchy fabric, man. They'd be so nice.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, skin tight, but I'd like a little bit of stretchiness to it. I think they'd look sick.
Yeah, they'd be sweet. All right, let's get into some playoff stats here. So crazy. Just the Oilers and Panthers history. All-time Stanley Cup playoff points leaders. Oilers is Gretzky with 252. Panthers is Barkov with 54. So
Attaboy,
that's
Barkey.
quite a difference. Obviously, with the history of the franchises, that's not fair, but it's kind of cool that Barkov leads them. Second on each team is Mark Messier and Carter Verhaeghe for the Florida Panthers. He's second in Florida Panther history, which is honestly not a surprise, but kind of a surprise. Yari Curry with 202, and then Matthew Tkachuk with 43. So in 2 years, Tkachuk has 43 points for them already in 2 Cup final runs. So he's obviously been killing it. And we'll skip to the last 2 here because Edmonton has 6, but we'll just skip down because it's McDavid with 106 and Sam Bennett with 33 and Draisaitl with 105 and Reinhart with 29. Like the fact that McDavid and Draisaitl honestly are over 100 points, almost at 110, is just crazy. Considering the lack of production they've done, like McDavid's 150 points behind Gretzky and he hasn't won a cup. And Gretzky won, 4 cups? 3 cups? How many did he win with Edmonton?
I want to say 3, but it might have been 4.
3.
But I think
it was
3.
I think he has 5 total, doesn't he? 1 with the Kings and 4 with the Oilers, I think is what he has.
Yeah, maybe.
So either way, like the fact that they're that close to Gretzky when they really haven't had that much playoff success is kind of nuts. I just wanted to throw that in there. This one is probably the best sports stat of any sports stat that you can have. So Jaromir Jagr has had a teammate win the Stanley Cup since 1980. Someone he played with in the NHL has won the Stanley Cup since the year 1980. It started with Trottier, who won because the Islanders won 4 straight. So they 80, 81, 82, 83. Messier, 84, 85. Mullen, then Messier, Herdina, Messier, Lemieux, JJ Dagno, and Messier again. Not really any major names, but Scott Gomez in 2000, Chris Drury 2001, Shanahan 02, Mark Recchi 2006, Sean Thornton 07, Peter Sikora 09, Chris Versteeg, Mark Recchi again, Willie Mitchell again, Chris Versteeg, Matt Cullen a couple times, Alex Chason in 2018, Braden Shen 2019, Braden Coburn 2020, John Merrill 2021. John Merrill was on Tampa in 2021. I totally forgot that they had him. Andre Palat in 2022, which was a 2014 Olympic teammate. Only one that's not an NHL teammate. And then in the final, Alexander Barkov last year and Alexander Barkov this year. So that is just crazy that over a 44-year time span, Jaromir Jagr has had a teammate in the Stanley Cup Finals every single year. This was just a cool note I wanted to add in there. So, for the first time ever, the NHL was broadcasting in ASL, which is sign language, American Sign Language. So that was very cool to see for people who basically have just had to watch the broadcast and what's happening and not be able to hear it, not be able to hear the commentators, not be able to experience that kind of extra level than just watching the hockey. It was really cool to see. Like, these guys were so animated. Their hands were going so fast as they were breaking down
Especially
the
when they were
plays as
scoring
they
a
were
goal.
going.
It was pretty cool.
Exactly. So those guys are awesome. I hope that they continue to use them for years to come. It should be more than just the final. It should then move to the whole playoffs. And then from the playoffs, it should move into key regular season games. And then hopefully eventually to every regular season game. Every team should have a home broadcast in ASL, just like they have a regional broadcast, a team broadcast, and a major market broadcast all out of one arena. They might as well add this as well.
Have you guys ever watched that TikTok video where there was a blind fellow but there was a soccer game on the TV, but they also had like this felt pad of like a soccer field that
Yep.
his interpreter was dragging his hands along the field, and he'd kind of sign it for him in Braille
Yeah.
almost, and like go play by play, which I thought was pretty
Oh, that's
awesome. So
cool. I didn't
if
see
they could
that.
do that for even hockey, like that'd be amazing.
Yeah, make little hockey rinks that have kind of a breakdown. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. Okay, we have a whole bunch of stats. I put them in the Discord. I don't know if you guys want to break them down. Who wants to grab what statistic? There's a whole bunch here, but you guys can go ahead and read some of them off because honestly, I'm tired of hearing myself talk. Start with Sergei Bobrovsky. That's the first one.
Yeah, I'm gonna start it off with Bob and say that he's been a shutdown animal against these Edmonton Oilers, and they're gonna have some trouble scoring if they're gonna keep playing the way they've been playing, and if Bob's gonna keep playing the way he's been playing, because he's got a .984, the highest save percentage in Stanley Cup Finals history. So, yeah, that just says it all right there.
Man, I'm so happy for Bobrovsky. You know, he is so well deserving of a championship, and this is his time to shine. You know, it's still 3-0, but let's just give it to Florida already. You know they're going to win next game. It's over. Like they can't identify how to beat Bob, right? I mean, back in the day, Bobrovsky and the Columbus Blue Jackets could never solve the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round, you know, during the 2010s. So now that he's left Columbus and he's now with the Florida Panthers, like it was a whole rejuvenation, a renaissance for his career. He's just taken off with such a great group of guys. And now look at him back-to-back Stanley Cup appearances. Sorry, yeah, Stanley Cup Finals appearances. And he's one win away from a cup, his first ever cup. Even Roberto Luongo, an assistant to the general manager, like another Hall of Fame goaltender. Two guys right there, a future Hall of Famer, and you know Roberto Luongo was already a Hall of Fame goaltender. Like two guys, well deserving of a cup. They're one win away, so could not be happy for them right now.
And I think
could not be happier.
I said this on, or maybe I didn't say it, but I think we talked about it on the very first podcast that I joined, when you guys had me as a guest, and we talked about, like, would Bobrovsky be a Hall of Famer if he gets the cup to go along with his two Vezinas? I think.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Possible. It was very possible.
Yeah, I think we were talking about.
Or does he fit into the same category as the?
Yeah, because he was going to get a potential third Vezina. We were like, I was saying, is he really that good of a goaltender in his whole career that he's going to have more Vezina than however many guys we listed off? But you're right. Like, this is the same conversation. Like, if he wins a third Vezina, wins the Stanley Cup, is he in the Hall of Fame?
He could very well get the Conn Smythe too.
I might not go Hall of Fame, but I'll put him up there as one of the better goalies of our generation, for sure.
Yeah, in his last 6 years, he's completely changed the trajectory of his career.
100%.
Compared to the first 5.
Well, and at some point, didn't Florida even think about trading him at some point?
Yeah. The first year after they signed him to that $10 million contract, and he was like one of the bottom 10 goalies in the NHL that year.
Now look at him. He ain't going nowhere now. Because they wanted to put all their trust into Spencer Knight, who didn't pan out, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
And then Who was the other one? He went to Detroit, I'm pretty sure. Alex Lyon.
Alex Leon.
So it's
Yeah,
Alex,
Leon.
yeah, Alex Lyon. So that just goes to show you, man, with a little bit of patience and time, he's gonna flourish. And bang, lights out for Florida. Couldn't ask any more of them.
And what do you think, Dally, about the fact that this could bump Rogie to third best save percentage in Stanley Cup final history? He made yet another list. Rogie Vachon, 9.972 save percentage, third overall rate currently. If Bobrovsky stays at 0.984, Patrick Waugh is at 0.974. So, legendary stuff still from Rogie.
Oh, of course. And I mean, you can't be mad about it, right? Obviously, times are changing and stats are always changing, right? Some new blood's going to take over and take off the top spots, of the all-time wins, save percentage, goals against average, whatever, right? I mean, it's just a new age, right? Still
He
legendary
held,
list. You're still on the list, right? But there's always
yeah,
going to be new goalies coming into the league that are as well going to have a Hall of Fame career. So never count out who paved the path for you, but you got to respect them. But also now you're going to be moving in, and then one day you're going to be paving the path for these new generation of goalies. So
yeah, he held that record for almost 30 years, man. He got it
yeah,
in 1969, and Patrick Waugh didn't break it till 1996.
yeah, I'm pretty sure
So,
he was with the Canadiens at that point.
could have been. And what about Bob with the 33 save shutout, 2 straight series with a shutout in game 1, and the oldest goaltender ever with a shutout in the Stanley Cup final? Like, just to add some little cherry on the top of these statistics for him.
Well, I mean, when Edmonton's 4 top guys are goalless in the Stanley Cup Finals, like, he's been doing something right. He's lights out. They
Yep.
can't identify how to beat him. So,
Paul Maurice has to be really happy. He's got to be so joyful right now. Another thing.
Did you guys see? Oh, sorry. Go
Oh
ahead.
no
You
no
finish yours.
no
I'll
no no!
jump
You
in.
go ahead. You go ahead. I was gonna bring up another
just-
stat, so you go ahead.
Yeah, this is just quick, just about him. Before the game last game, did you see when the Oilers were booing him?
No,
Did you guys see his reaction?
I haven't
Okay,
got to
so
watch
all
any
the-
of the games. I've been on the boat. I
That's
came
true.
back
you
and I was like,
waved.
oh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap! Like the series is
all
already
the
2-0.
fans. Yeah, so the whole fan base booed him as soon as they said like head coach of Florida, Paul Maurice, and he kind of stepped forward off the glass. He was like, "Thank you, thank you." He went back. He was laughing under his breath. He thought he was so funny. I was like, he's just living his best life right now.
He's loving
Did
it
you
guy's
also
now.
having
see
so
some
much fun.
Edmonton? Did you boys also see some Edmonton fans were cheering when Florida scored?
Yeah, that girl was on the drugs. She had no idea where she was.
It wasn't the same
Yeah,
girl as last time, right? Twitter girl.
No. It's just some lady. Florida scored to make it 1-0, and the camera panned to her, and she was jumping up and down and like arms in the air, waving, just like, and all the Oilers fans around her just sitting there, like disappointment, and she's just going bonkers.
That's another guy that's so well deserving of a championship too. Like Paul Maurice has been in the coaching game for so many years now, and it's his time, man. Right? I mean,
1,800 games.
yeah, he used to play for the Windsor Spitfires from 1980 to 84. Like this guy has been in hockey for a long time, right? So it'll be awesome to see him hoist that Stanley Cup.
Yep. Go ahead
And
with your next
also,
stat, Dave. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dad.
I was just gonna say, I hope Florida does win, so the Stanley Cup can come back to my hometown of Windsor when Aaron Ekblad brings it. Let's go
That'd be cool.
Panthers!
Talking about Aaron Ekblad, before I get to my stat, have you guys been seeing like all the old tweets between McDavid and Ekblad that are being brought back up?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Back
the
when they,
chirps.
yeah, back when they used to chirp when they played for Erie and Barrie.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
missed that.
that's kind of funny. I've just seen them go back and forth. But yeah, another stat that I've seen that Riley put in the Discord is, and kind of caught my eye, and I'm an Atlantic Division fan, and the Atlantic Division has 6 appearances in the last 5 cup finals because of the Habs and Lightning 2021 final. But still, that's pretty good for the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, the 2020 decade, it hasn't been anyone but Atlantic.
Yeah, literally.
Coming out of the East. And it also, one year, like you said, has been Montreal coming out of the West.
Right.
Well, if you think of it too, 2019 was Boston, so there's another Atlantic. But then you got to go back to 2018 from the Metro when it was the Washington Capitals representing out of the Eastern Conference. So yeah, it's been quite a few years, boys.
Yeah. And it also goes on to say here, Dayton, so Atlantic has 6, Pacific has 2, Central has 2, and the Metro has 0. It says the Atlantic has more cup final appearances in the 2020s than every other division combined.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Crazy. All right, who wants another one here? There's a bunch. Anyone want like the Verhaeghe stat? 2021, 2022. First,
Toronto never should have gave up on him. That's all I'm gonna say about him.
Here's one that
Tampa
caught
too.
my eye.
Tampa too, yeah.
Lowest plus minus in a postseason in NHL history. It doesn't surprise me at all, though, that Darnell Nurse is right there.
Yep.
He's minus 16.
Especially after last game.
Yeah, that's not good. Minus 16 is very bad, Darnell.
Absolutely bonkers. Horrible.
I do think it is pure comedy that the guy he's tied with is the guy whose son is absolutely lighting him up right now. Every time they're on the ice versus each other, it's Paul Reinhart. So his son Sam is literally contributing to all these minuses for Darnell right now.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help when Darnell's always in the right spot, getting the puck bounced off of him too.
I literally saw a thing that
so
said
bad.
Darnell Nurse is going to be getting paid he's going to be getting paid. I forget. It was something around like 9.25 for like the next like 3 seasons or something.
7.
Oh,
He signed a 9.25 times 8 years. This is his first year on that
Oh
deal.
boy.
Oh, damn.
Oh boy, Edmonton.
Yeah,
And
like what do
next
they do?
year, I think he makes 14 mil. He's the highest paid defender in the NHL next year. That's all I know.
More than Cale Makar, Amiro Heiskanen, Roman Josi. Like, wow.
It's like how technically McKinnon was the high. I think it was McKinnon who was making 13 million this year. He was the highest paid single year earner this year out of his average over his whole contract. Next year, Nurse is the highest paid defenseman in the NHL, and like he doesn't even play like he's a top 20 defender. Like if he was at $5 million, this is a steal. Great player, good enough for $5 million. But like he's making as much as Makar, Hughes, Heiskanen, more than Heiskanen. Like, and those guys would dance around him in a phone booth. He is so much worse than those guys. And
then look at McKinnon on the whole other end of the spectrum, right? Your new record-setting deal kicks in. You have a historic career year, right?
Yep.
The second that contract kicked in, right? And then you got a guy like Darnell Nurse who's making maybe like $3 million less. One of the absolute worst seasons you could have.
Who saw that chip last night? The turnover on the Tkachuk to Bennett goal. Who saw that play?
Did
you guys see it?
I haven't watched any of the playoffs.
Okay, so Broberg gets it in the left corner, chips it behind the net to Nurse, who does have someone coming around the net to chase him, so he steps out in front of the net. He does the weakest little backhand flip that Bennett knocks down. It doesn't get to Broberg, who was covered anyways. Tkachuk picks it up. Darnell doesn't even react to what he just did. Tkachuk just passes it right through him to Bennett, who he let go, and Bennett scored. That was basically the killer. That made it 2-0 or 3-0, and it murdered them. That was it. And it was like, there's your best defenseman. making the worst play of the game at the worst time. And all 3 of their goals in the second period, they let in 3 goals in 6 minutes. All 3 of their goals, turnovers by defensemen. All 3 of them. And that was it. Like, that was the game. Now they're down 3-0. It was Bouchard made one. Again, Nurse made one. And then Cece got beat to a puck in the corner, and it got passed out front. Past Nurse, I think, and in the net. There's no way this team comes back.
Did you see Aaron Ekblad choking out what's his
Evan
name?
Bouchard.
Yeah, and he was like tapping out.
He's tapping out.
We might lose Dallas here. It says his phone might die. We're almost done, so if we have to finish it off, we will. So I'll bomb out the rest of these really quick. Highest percentage of playoff games where they scored a game-winning goal. Verhaeghe leads that with 15.87%. Verhaeghe since 2021-22, he's first in NHL even strength playoff goals, third in even strength playoff points, fourth in playoff goals, and seventh in playoff points. We talked about save percentage. The only players in history with 27 assists in a postseason are Gretzky, Lemieux, Kucherov, and McDavid. Highest plus minus in regular season and postseason combined since 1990, Gustav Forsling is a plus 71. The next player is only a plus 64. Johnny Gaudreau is actually third at a plus 61.
Gustav Forsling is also one of the best waiver wire pickups, too, in recent memory from Carolina. Oh, yeah.
It was from Vancouver.
I thought I saw Carolina.
It was from Vancouver because they're mocking the Canucks that like potentially their second best defenseman they've ever drafted is not even on their team. Because it was I saw a list. It was ex Canucks in the final. It was Forsling, Roberto Luongo, right? Like all these guys they were naming off, like all these guys that were going to get a cup before the Canucks do. So Forsling was on that list as well.
Yeah, but wasn't he on Carolina though? Or was he drafted by Carolina then played for Vancouver?
Yeah, I think he was on He was on Carolina for a bit because I remember him being on there when I was playing NHL.
Fair enough. All I know is he was waiver wired.
Yeah.
Most Cup final points per decade in the 2020s is Kucherov. In the 2010s, it was Kane. 2000s was Rafalski. 90s, Lemieux. Gretzky in the 80s. Gretzky is crazy. Everyone else is like around 20 points. Gretzky is 46. And then 1970s, Jacques Lemaire is 34. Then we talked about that. So, like Dallas mentioned, all the top 5 players, Draisaitl, Hyman, Bouchard, Nugent-Hopkins, and McDavid, all have 0 goals in the Stanley Cup final. It's a major reason why they are losing. And it probably will continue that way if they can't score the next 4 games. I thought I'd throw these 2 in here. So we have the AHL final is going to be Hershey versus Coachella Valley. Honestly, the 2 wagons in the AHL. And then the Florida Everblades won their 3rd straight ECHL Kelly Cup title. So I thought we'd throw some love to them because winning 3 in a row doesn't matter how you chalk it up. That's tough to do in any league. So congrats to them. One of the cooler stories, these are some hires that have gone on. So in St. Louis, Doug Armstrong just signed an extension to remain the president of hockey operations through 2028-29. But this has a succession clause where Alexander Steen will take over as the general manager in 2026. So he'll remain general manager with Steen as his assistant general manager for 2 years. After 2 years, Steen will take over and become the general manager. Well, Armstrong will just go to president of hockey operations. The Sharks promoted Ryan Warsofsky from interim head coach to head coach after they let go David Quinn. And Kaapo Kakko surprisingly re-signed with the New York Rangers. So we unfortunately lost Dallas there, but that's okay. Kakko re-signs with the New York Rangers, which is a total surprise. Let's get into it here at the end. Like Dayton says, let's get into our Battle of the Tarps. So starting it off, we have our June round robin 2, which is the home jersey for the Kingston Frontenacs and the away jersey for JYP Jyvalskly, I believe is how you say it. Here, Dayton, I'll quickly add these to the thing for you.
Oh,
To
you
Discord.
showed them to me before the before the pod. Which one are we going with? Are we going with the red and black?
Yeah, the red shoulders with the black jersey for JYP,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
then
With
the black and
the
golds for
fading
Kingston.
red. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, and for me, honestly, I'm gonna go with JYP. I mean, the logos are there, but it's finally some creativity. I like the fade jerseys. Honestly, every one that's been a fade for us, Ilves and Ljubljana, both were fade jerseys, and I've picked both of them every time. I love the fade. The logos, I'm just choosing to ignore them because it's just the way that they need to do it in European hockey. I like the stripes. I like, the logo is kind of neat. It's nothing fancy, but it's a little bit neat, but I like it.
I hate advertisement on jerseys, but I do like the black fading into the red or the red fading into the black on the shoulders. Logo wise, I'd probably have to go Kingston. But without the logo, without the advertisement, I'd probably go with JYP. Yeah, I'll go with JYP.
I think most European jerseys, like, they'd have a smaller main logo, and then the advertisements would be like way bigger than the main logo. But since the main logo is like decently sized, center of the chest, it works. And like the sponsor ads don't look too out of place. Like, they're white. There's not like too much going on.
Yeah, sometimes they're multicolored, which throws it off.
Yeah, Kingston, I like the jersey, but just gold and white stripe on a black jersey. I think I'm gonna have to go with JYP as well.
Honorary vote. I know for a fact that Dallas would choose Kingston in this situation.
100%.
He is like you, Dak. Well, I mean, all of us. No one likes the logos on the jerseys in Europe. It's just the way it is because they don't make as much money. They need these sponsors. But Dallas, he can't stand them under any circumstances. So he's absolutely going Kingston for sure on this one. And Wilbs, who couldn't be with us today, I would say Wilbs probably go Kingston too in this situation. He's a big OHL lover living in London, obviously. So I feel like he would go Kingston as well. And then we have our June round robin 1 winner, which is the Sudbury Wolves alternate jersey. We voted unanimously last time that this was going to beat the Melville Millionaires, although Dayton wasn't with us, but Dayton does say he likes the Melville jerseys, which I did too, just lost out barely. But so congrats to them. It's going to be Sudbury versus either Kingston or JYP, whichever one makes it through. And then we have our May champion tarp, the Revelstoke Grizzlies, which could take home potentially tarp of the year when this is all said and done. Once our 12 months are through, we're doing tarp of the year with our month champions, and we're 6 months into it. And Revelstoke, I think, is the only one that's been 100% voted through the entire time. So we will see how that turns out. But basically, everyone, that's it. Thank you, as always, to everyone for watching. Like Dayton mentioned at the beginning, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you listen to podcasts on. Download the episodes so you can listen to them in any situation, whether service or no service. You can always listen to those. Go ahead and give us a follow at Gameday Tarps Podcast on all social medias. Follow Dayton at Blue Nose Hockey on TikTok and Instagram, and then follow Wilbs at Wilbs Puck on TikTok and Instagram as well. So just want to again say thanks to everyone for watching. I think 2 weeks is 1 year on the pod for us, boys. So it's going to be huge Me and Dak have been here since episode 1, so it's pretty special, and it's going to be a lot of fun when we can get to that moment day after the draft. So hope everyone has a great night. Talk to you guys next week.